Okay, so yesterday we have seen V versus tree and V versus table report, right? So if we observe, let's open that script. Okay, so V versus tree, it will display the request and display the response. V versus table, it will display individual APIs and with the basic data. Correct. Suppose if I am running this script with let's assume 5 users. Okay, and if you go to table, it displays each and everything like home page on home page one. Correct. So if I ask you average of all or average of each page, we won't get those details, right? Because we have to calculate each and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah. So then we're doing load test means we'll ask complete average of that particular page. So not individual. So individual we need when we're debugging. Like for every user is getting our same, like at the time we need debugging. So now whenever you go for higher reports like proper report, then we'll go with aggregate report. Right group, right click, add listener, aggregate report. So here this will consolidate your report and it will give you a single data. See, okay, this one 5 users, this one 5 users, this one 5 users, and 5 users data displaying here.
Okay.
So this is the final output which we can share to anyone because it's easy and understandable way. So to debug why this 5 users is 941, that means then we'll go with the users table and we'll check all home pages one. Select a label now, right? Home page one, 970, okay, kind of. But mainly in a nutshell, if you want to know I report, this is the proper one which you'll get, which you need to share with any one members in our team.
Okay.
This API is 0.6, kind of 0.9. And this is a failed one, right? That's why it's displaying one. It's not
Mhm.
taking any data. Okay, so this is a main report which we'll be using mostly in our for our projects in the real time.
Okay.
Okay,
And this file we can save here by providing a file name .csv or something
no,
like that,
anywhere,
and content can
anywhere you
save.
can save and you can load here.
Okay. Here save table data option is also there.
Save that is different. Is completely save the data here. Otherwise,
Oh,
if we put our JTL file right in the videos, CVs, anywhere you can load the data here. Otherwise, you can save the data.
okay.
Any one of the listeners you can keep that option, so it will be available for all JTL. I mean all listeners. Okay, so now let's understand what is the meaning of each and each column and how they are calculating
Mhm.
and what you are able to understand based on this data. So
Sure,
okay, it
sure.
says 949 on this is, so what does it convey to us?
Okay.
Okay, so generally by default if you take a layman person, he can also see these numbers are there.
Hmm.
But what we are conveying, so that's our duty to explain that data to them.
Okay.
Okay, so before that we need to understand the each column explanation. Okay, so here it displays samples means this is a 5 means this each request has loaded 5 times.
Okay.
That is the number of count. As we're running 5 users, right? That's why it display 5. We're running with 10, it display 10.
Hmm.
This is the number of APS which triggered by JMeter.
Okay.
Okay, next one is the average. Average load time, response time, all are response times only. So
Okay.
why they mention average? Because it's a five user data, na? So that's why they
Hmm.
make it an average.
Okay.
And by default, the units are in milliseconds.
Hmm.
Same way for all other things.
Okay.
Okay. And let's see minimum. So out of 5 values, what is the minimum? And out of 5 values, what is the maximum?
Okay.
and error percent. See, if right now showing 0 because all are pass. Assume that in out of 5 one got failed, it will show 20% here. Okay. See, now here it says out of 5 all 5 fail, that's 100%.
100%.
Right. Next important is throughput. So throughput is nothing but at the at the time of this execution, JMeter sent 2.6 requests per second.
Okay.
Okay. It sent 2.7.
Okay.
Okay. So this will help us whenever you're doing a higher load or compressing test to check how much JMeter is sending and how your server is handling.
Okay.
Okay. And received KB, sent KB is not required. So ignore these two fields.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you check this average is there, right? So average means out of 5, if one could be higher, one could be low, but our average will be like this only. And you
Okay.
can you find out whether all 5 are same or not based on this average?
No.
No.
In reason, in this table we can't find out.
In this table we can't. See, right now if it is 5 users, that's why if we go to users table, we can check it. But you're running for 1 lakh or the 10,000 users. In that case, can you find a users table as well? No, right? So that's why to predict whether all users having same values or each and every user is sure or not based on these 4 fields. Median, nothing but 50 percentile, 90 percentile, 95, 99. These 4 fields will help us to determine the pattern. Okay, median is the
What is median? 50%.
50 percentile, 90 percentile, 95, 99.
Okay.
Okay, this will help us to determine that pattern.
Okay.
So now what is the percentiles? So percentile is nothing but whenever there is a no higher order, based on the given values, it will display the higher order.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. If you take a school of some particular class and take a science subject marks, so there could be a topper and there could be a low scorer student. But based on these two, we can't judge the whole class, right? If I ask you the whole class performance, based on these two, I can't. So how can I determine? Okay, what is the maximum number of students who are getting more than 90? Or what is the maximum from more than 90, more than 70, more than 60? So if I get the numbers of these marks, then I will get to know if the most students are in bracket between 70 to 90. So I can say that that's the subject, the class is good. If more students are having less than 50 means, I can say that okay, this class has to improve. Correct. Because that's a very easy way to determine. So for that, we can't do calculate manually, no? Okay, what is the mark? What is the mark? Based on that, we can't draw the numbers and we can't create a graph and we can't check it. So in that case, we will use percentiles.
Okay.
Okay, so I will explain clearly. Let me open Excel sheet. Okay, so let's check this data. So let's take a 10 one login page request. Okay, in the login page you have 10 users. Okay, same login page is being triggered by the 10 users. So you will expect same response time, right, for all 10. Am I correct or not? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, able to hear me?
Hello.
Hello? I'm able to hear you. Hello? Hello?
రవి ఇప్పుడు వినిపిస్తుంది.
Yeah, అది రీకనెక్ట్ అయినట్టుంది.
ఓకే.
Okay, so let's take a login page as example, and this login page has been accessed by the 10 users. So what you will expect? You will expect same response time, correct? Because it's same page. So same response means could be point difference of millisecond. Nothing like one user got 10, other user should not get 1. Correct. So let's take the data here. So here I have created 10 users. Okay, and I have the response times. That's why I kept first is as 1 second on 1.0, on 1.2, 0.99, 0.98, something around like this, 4, 1.0, 1. So I can see now clearly one user has highest, which is a 4. So this means this particular user is a not like is not properly got the response or somewhere. So due to this, our average will change.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's first put one value here and we'll check normal. Assume that if it's general case.
Okay.
Okay. So how average will calculate, you know, right? Excel formula. Average of this to this.
Yeah.
So same as JMeter also calculate in the back end. It will correct all the values and do average formulas, give the result here.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So now to understand percentiles, how it will be calculated. So let's take example 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 values. Okay. So if I say 50 percentile, it means sort all the values in ascending order and take 50% means if the 10 values are there, right? 50% means 5 value, fifth value.
5 value.
So the fifth value is the highest of fifth value. Let's take 50 is a here, right? 5 is a 50%. If I ask 80%, 8. If I ask 90%, 9. So 50% means highest of 50% of the students. 80% of highest is this one. So when you know 50% of highest is 70 and if 80% is 90, so 30% are of the students are between this one, right? 70 to 90 marks.
Yeah.
So it means more than 50% of students are 70. You understood, right? The personal concept. Okay. So same way JMeter also calculate and display the data.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's see. Your average is 1.03 and a 50% is 1.001, 1.11, 1.15 because of these values. And if you observe, all are near to one value. Correct? 1.1, 1.1, 1.1 only. So the first basic thing is your average should match with these values.
Okay.
So it means that our users are constant. I mean, they have the proper response times. Okay. See, with the help of minimum maximum, we'll get to know highest and lowest. And see if minimum maximum has a very the gap between minimum and maximum are very high, right? It is also mentioning that that is not a proper one.
Yeah.
Because it's same API. So what is the minimum maximum should be also near to one values only. Okay. So now let's see. So now we observe all are same, right? Now let me make one particular request as some 7 seconds. Okay. Now see, your average is 1.63. So with this average, we can't know anything. Average is average. So now if you observe, if 50% is 1.06, 90% 1.78, 95 4, 99.6. What does it mean? So till 90 percentile of users having 1.78. It means till this point everything is okay. But they were 99 is 6.47. So 10% of users is having a difference.
Yeah.
So 10% of 10 values means one value. So one user is having highest difference value. That's why your value is deviated from 92 or 99.
Yeah.
You understood, right? So yeah. So whenever ever 90, 99 are not near to one values, it means ever 1 or 2% of values are not in a range.
Okay.
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 So whenever you run your script, you should always check whether these three are near to values or not. Not much very difference, but near.
Okay.
Because of we are executing the same load for same request.
Okay.
Okay, got it right. So this is their aggregate report. Suppose now let me do one thing. If I clear, if I load the GTL which we saved in a bin folder. This we saved right in the video history. See, it displays the data. So you can use any JTL file at any listener. It will help. It will helpful for all the listeners. It's not like that we need to save in particular format or not. Okay. So clear right aggregate report.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is a where which will mainly using it and to track it. So without any server monitoring tool, na, we'll simply tell okay how this is behaving. So we will repeat we'll repeat same test for 2 or 3 times. So that if all the 3 times we are getting the same pattern, na, that's okay. But every time it's changing pattern or some values are not in a expected state means there is something wrong with the sub application.
Okay.
Okay. So now next is just summary report. So summary report, add listener summary report. So this is the same, but which we have extra column of standard deviation.
Standard deviation. Okay.
Remaining else everything is same.
Okay.
Okay. So what is standard deviation? So standard is nothing but difference between each value to value.
As we discussed. Okay.
Correct. Suppose let's see. See, assume that if so, we are using the same request, na. So if I calculate standard deviation to these values, it should be very lower. See now, if you see here 1.88. Now if I do one here, see 0.006. Because they are very near. So this will help us. So first run you executed, you got some value. Second run again, some value. Third run some value. So out of these 3 values, whichever the run has low standard deviation, that is a better response. So in that way also we can confirm whether that ever values are in a range or not. Okay. So next listener, graph results. add listener graph results. So this will give us a basic graph to understand how our application is being monitored.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take so if you take a x and y graphs, right? Let's take a x and y axis. Let me do quickly with the paint. Okay, this is our y and this is our x. Okay, and let's take the users here. Okay, and let's take the response time. So if users are increasing, like 1 user, 10 user, 100 user, so can you tell me how response time graph would be there in general?
What, Ravi?
See, like given 10 users, like
10
the users
users.
are increasing like 100.
Hmm.
So what is the response time? Response time should increase, should decrease, should be constant. What is the pattern?
Constant, then the server is fine response time. If it is constant.
Correct. So and
Same.
generally, yeah. So it will be start from somewhere because it can't start from zero, right? First thing.
Yeah.
Because every 1 user also it will show some response time. So it will be like this. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. So it should be like this. Very little bit deviation. So whenever you see the high slope, the users are increasing,
Like
right?
huge difference.
So that is not a proper one because the point where it is getting breaking. So somewhere it will be constant, but some point it will start breaking. Okay. So at the point which it's breaking, right? So that's like we generally say at that the particular number of users the server is not behaving.
Yes.
Okay, and once your application not responding, then the response will decreases. I mean, it's not handling because of error state, the response will decrease. Okay, now same way, let's take a throughput. 8 minutes. Okay, throughput is nothing but number of requests. So in this case, it always start from 1 because 1 user 1 request, 10 user 10 requests. So it will be like always this 100 users 100, 1000 because you keep on increasing along with the user. So at a time where the values is not corresponding increasing, it's starting decreasing. Assume that.
Okay.
Even though increasing the users, but your throughput is decreasing. Understood, right? So at this point, it means server is not able to handle the load. That's why even though you given 1 lakh, it will take only 1,000 or 10,000. Others, all it will make it fail because of its capacity. So these patterns will observe in the graph results. Okay. So for see, if I run with 5 10 users, it will simply display the dots. So it simply displays the dot so that we can't understand the pattern because there is no big data to run the test. See?
Dots means?
I mean the data matrix. Whatever we see, we are running for 5 user test, right? Based on this 5 user data, it displaying this graph.
Okay.
But this is very small values, to display the very graph.
Okay.
So hence, what we'll do, right? We'll go in infinity loop to give a proper data. Okay. Let's run with one user and we'll specify thread time of some 10-15 seconds.
Okay.
So that we'll get particular data. Okay. So let's see. And here I won't display the data don't require and median 50% is not required. I need average, response time, deviation, and throughput. These three are main for us.
Okay. Average and deviation. Okay.
Okay. And if you observe, see this throughput. See one user, that's why it's showing a wrong slow data. Okay, let's start with the 10 then. Better.
Okay.
More data, more runs.
Okay.
And I will remove this error as well. See if you observe this green, see started from 0. Slowly it is increasing based on the users. And if you see the blue response time, see it starts from somewhere. Okay. And if you see slowly it increases and stable because we are running lastly with 10 users only. So it will stable. And same the response time also, it should be somewhere and it should be stable. Okay. And our deviation also should be stable. So whenever this deviation suddenly increases, and whenever this throughput suddenly decreases, throughput decreases means it's not a proper sign. And your response time increases, not a proper sign. So whenever that is happening, that's where our application is not able to handle load. We can stop the test, or we can say that we call breakpoint.
Okay.
Okay. See, and now let's note down. See this for 10 user test, right? Okay. So let's note down the values. So 10 users, your response time is 885. Okay. And your throughput 679 per minute. And deviation 109. Correct. These three values. Deviation 109, throughput, and average. And if you see number of samples means for this particular time it triggered 178 APIs. And latest sample is last request response time. Okay. So now if I do with some into 50. So what should I expect means for 50 users? So I'll expect same response time. And the throughput should be into 50 times. This is 10 user, right? This is a 10 user. So into 5 times. So around 5 and around means around 3,500 to 4,000 requests per minute. And our deviation should be little bit above that value. Okay. So when you didn't get this pattern also, you can clearly say that your application is not able to handle this much upload. Okay. Now let's run. Now we'll see more data. See, your DSG is slowly starting increasing. So it means it's not able to handle the 50 load data. Understood, right? Starting this value, starting this value, starting this value. Okay, and see now our average is 2687, and very previous is 885. So lot of difference, right? 2687.
Yeah.
It means it's not able to handle 50 users. So this way we can identify the pattern. Like we'll do 10 user, 20 user, 30 user. At one point the pattern will different, right? So at the particular number of users we can say that is not able to handle. We can increase the resources, kind of like that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a graph results. So this we won't do much, but if we want to analyze exactly what is happening, so at the time we will do this. Okay. It's clear, right?
Clear, Ravi, clear.
Okay.